Welcome back, Homebody Live. Today is Friday, April 17th, 2020. My name is Andy.
I'm Ben.
And we are so happy to have you join us for some community conversation and exercise. Today's going to be a little bit different. Ben, why don't you tell them how?
So as you know, if you've been joining us for the last couple of weeks, on Fridays we like to do something a little bit lighter. And today I thought we would go even lighter and focus on the fingers and forearms in a really quick exercise and workout. If you're looking for something a little bit more full body, you can go to some of our other videos we posted this week because we post new videos every weekday. And you can do one of those workouts. But for today, we're going to focus on the fingers, which are obviously super important for everything. Writing, texting, opening doors, holding things. So let's get started with just a little bit of a wrist and finger warm-up just by rotating our wrists. And I'll tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. So while you're warming up and rotating your wrists, just so you know, the fingers actually, in order to contract the fingers, there aren't muscles in the fingers, which is something very unique to our digits. But instead, there are tendons going through the fingers, which are attached to muscles in your forearm. So when you bend your fingers, you're actually contracting in your forearm, and that is what's pulling your fingers close. And so today we're going to do some dexterity and exercises in the forearm, but focused on the finger. All right, so let's switch the direction. If you were going in, go out. If you're going out, go in now. This will be a quick one today. And now let's do the same. Our hands open.
Feels better for me with my hands open.
Yeah.
It was hurting my wrist a little with them closed.
As always, if you feel any pain.
Wait, it wasn't pain, it was just like...
Yeah, no, I see discomfort.
Yeah.
If you feel any real pain, stop and pick back up. So now let's switch directions.
I think we've mentioned this before, but important for you to note that Ben is a rock climber.
The reason I know more about fingers than most other parts of the body is because I am a rock climber and fingers are very important in rock climbing. Okay, so I think this is a good warm-up. You should really be able to feel warm kind of in your wrists, forearms, and fingers. Let's just do some opening and closing, really squeezing the fist closed.
Also good to note, I'm also an occupational therapist, and while I do not specialize in hand therapy, I obviously have some training with like the muscles in your forearm and finger rehabilitation, but these are really great exercises to do if you're experiencing any like arthritis pain. But as always, if it really truly hurts, please stop and discontinue any exercise.
Yeah. Okay, great. So the first exercise we're going to do is actually a set of 3 different movements. I'll do them first with my right hand, and then we can do them with both hands at the same time. Starting with just a flat open fist, fingers together. You're going to bend your fingers to the first knuckle, so not all the way into a fist, but just like this. Then you're going to go back all the way up. Then you're going to go into a fist position, closing your thumb. Then back all the way up to the flat palm. And then you're going to push your fingers down into your palm, keeping them flat on the front, and close your thumb on top. Takes a little bit of coordination and practice to get this every time, but just so you know, I actually really have to think about doing this correctly every time. So let's do that again. So bending your fingers, back up to the palm, into the fist, back up to the palm, and then fingers pushing into your palm. So we'll do that with both hands.
Sorry, Ben, can we just do it with our left hand?
Yeah, let's do it with our left hand. Okay. So starting in the palm position, bending the fingers, keeping the back of the hand flat, back into the palm position, making a fist, back into the palm position, pushing your fingers into your palm, thumb on top. And I actually can feel a big difference between my left and right hand. This is much harder for my left. So once again, starting in the palm.
My fingers don't go in all the way. Like your fingers are all the same inness.
Right.
Mine kind of are like...
What about on your other hand? Back to the palm.
No, they're all kind of scattered.
It's okay. Into the fist.
Wait.
Back to the palm. straight fingers, thumb down.
And my pinkies tuck for that one.
It's okay.
Not weird.
So let's try and do this all together, and I'll talk it out. And don't be worried if you have to really think about it, because I also really have to think about it. So let's just do this a couple times together. Fingers in, back to the open hand, making a fist, flat palms, tucking the fingers. Let's just do that.
Fingertips.
Fingertips curled, flat palm,
Okay.
fist, flat palm. Oh, I
Straight
messed it up.
fingers.
Straight fingers. Back to the palm.
Fingertips.
And I like to do this maybe like 8 to 12 times. Fist. It's hard to talk and do this. Flat palms. We'll do this a couple more times, but you should, as Andy keeps doing this, interestingly, you're probably not feeling any, like when you work out your legs or anything, you feel the strain in your legs. You're probably not feeling this in your fingers. You should actually really be feeling it right here in your forearms, which is the muscle that's actually doing all of the contracting, pulling the tendons to close your fingers. So let's just do this maybe 3 more times.
I think another name for this exercise is called tendon glides.
Tendon glides. Yeah, that is actually what it's called. And I came across it because I injured one of my fingers rock climbing. And so the tendons in your fingers are connected to the actual bones in your fingers by these little pulleys. You can think of a fishing rod with the string under it.
Mm-hmm.
And when that's tightened, it pulls the whole fishing rod of the finger. And so what we're doing is we're moving the tendon through those pulleys, strengthening the tendon themselves, reinforcing the pulley, and then obviously
Should be an OT.
you can do that. That's your thing. Do a fist, and then obviously we're also strengthening the actual muscles that are doing the work. Okay, so let's take a break. You probably feel that. One of my favorite stretches after that is very, very straightforward, but we're just gonna put one arm out, palm facing away and down, and with our other hand pulling our hand
So like the back of your hand.
back towards our body, stretching the muscle we actually just worked out in our forearm. Nice and easy.
To like breathe into this one.
Yeah, this feels really, really good. Take
Feel
it
it.
as
All across my wrist.
easy as you want. And what I actually like to do is to kind of move the pressure and the stretch is I add some pressure with this hand into different fingers. So right now I'm pushing a little harder into my pointer finger, and that helps a lot. Let's do this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feels so good.
Shake.
Shake it out. Go back to
I feel
this.
like when we were doing the tendon glides, like the stuff, I felt it more in like my fingers and less in my.
Interesting.
Maybe I was just. Maybe my hands are just really weak.
That's possible. If the tendons themselves are a little weak.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely not a doctor.
Nor am I.
Let's do this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stretch it out. All right. So now we're going to do a little resistance work in our fingers. So instead of squeezing something, we're actually going to do the opposite. We're going to put our right hand, line up our fingers into our left, and we're going to try and open our right hand and resist it with the left.
So you should feel yourself activating this like big muscle by your thumb, and then all the small muscles like around your hand.
This is really good. And if you have a rubber band at home, you can just put a rubber band around your fingers. Actually, the rubber band's right here. What I use. This is a rubber band that came off some broccoli from the grocery store. The broccoli ones are the best. They're much thicker than the other ones. And you're doing the same thing we're doing with our hands. You can do the same thing, but you don't need the rubber band. You can just kind of make one up with the other hand. So we'll do this 5 more times. I feel this one a lot, actually.
Yeah, me too. My favorite, I think you've heard me say this 100 times, but my favorite like muscle that we had to learn when I was in grad school was this muscle, and it's called the thenar eminence.
2
And that for some reason I just could never
and 1.
amused me.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Okay,
So now we're going to
sticking.
switch. We're going to put our left fingers into our right hand. My left hand is much weaker than my right
I was
hand.
just thinking the same thing.
I'm barely resisting.
I can't wait till we can go rock climbing again.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. Try and push evenly across all fingers. I have a tendency of, I don't know why, but
Gripping with a finger.
kind of pushing, resisting too hard with one of my fingers. And I often feel this kind of in the muscles back here, and as Andy said, the thenar eminence.
Yeah, thenar eminence.
Do this a couple more times. Then we'll go into stretching.
We'll have everyone walking around saying the thenar eminence after this.
Yeah. All our viewers are going to have the strongest hands. Everyone's going to be asking them how they write so good, and open doors so well, and open all their peanut butter
text so fast.
jars, text so fast. All right, let's do this 3 more times. 2 and 3. Okay. I think maybe we'll just do some stretches.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stretches, and if you go into any climbing gym, you will see this everywhere. Some people just call it the climber stretch, is the kind of prayer namaste pose. Palms together, you're kind of pushing them in and down, and you should be feeling this in your forearms. And what really is going to feel really good is we're going to rotate our fingers away from us and down, and you'll feel this kind of in the back of your arm, but also still through your forearms.
Try not to hike up your shoulders. As always, try and relax them, but you want to, as much as possible, hike up your hands towards your chest.
This feels really great.
Yeah. Oh, I'm hiking up my shoulders. It's funny. I don't even realize sometimes that I'm hiking until I look in my reflection and see that my shoulders are in my ears.
It's nice to kind of sometimes reset and turn it down. Great. All right, let's just do 2 more forearms, and then we'll switch and actually pull the other way. Do this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switching hands, pulling our left hand back with our right hand. 6 or 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's switch, and we'll actually pull back really gently. Really gently. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switching hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is really a great exercise and stretch for hand dexterity, strength, and mobility. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Bye, everyone.